one of the stars in college football, Myles Garrett, defensive lineman for Texas A&M, almost certainly getting ready to play his final college game with the Aggies, arriving here in Houston. NRG Stadium is the venue where the Aggies of A&M take on Bill Snyder's Wildcats of Kansas State. The venue that just a few weeks from now will host Super Bowl 51. This is the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl as a part of Capital One Bowl Mania. That is our matchup. Texas A&M out of the SEC, Kansas State out of the Big 12. Hi everybody, Dave Fleming alongside Jesse Palmer. It's my favorite kind of bowl matchup because you get teams that have a little history head to head. They used to play in the same conference. You get a contrast of styles. We definitely have that tonight. And then you get the star power with Myles Garrett, who has a great chance to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL
He's a
draft.
special player. There's no doubt about that. At 6'5", 270 pounds, Myles Garrett has skill sets that you just can't teach your coach. He's been clocked running 21 miles an hour on a GPS tracking device in practice, can almost jump 39 inches in a vertical. He's always had natural pass rushing ability with his bend and quick twitch, but I think he's really improved in the 3 years as a run defender. It's very rare you see a defensive player impact the game the way Myles Garrett does. He changes opposing offensive coordinators' game plans. Nobody runs at him. Everyone tries to double and triple team him in pass protection. Nobody takes a 7-step drop behind center with Myles Garrett on the field. In the 10 years that I've been at ESPN covering college football, the only 2 defensive players I've seen impact the game that way, Jadeveon Clowney and Ndamukong Suh, and that was the 1st overall and 2nd overall pick. Because of the way Myles Garrett impacts the game, I think he's put himself in a position to be the 1st overall pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, high praise indeed, and for good reason. We're going to spend a lot of time focusing on him, talking about him. For more on Myles Garrett, let's welcome in Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, with a few other high-profile college football players not playing in their bowl games, Kevin Sumlin asked Myles Garrett if he was going to play, and he looked at his coach like he was crazy and said, "Of course I'm playing in this game. Why would I want to miss this?" Myles told me it's a great opportunity to finish his season with this team, and he thinks he owes it to this university that's done so much for him to play in this game. He also thinks this is a great opportunity to show what he can do against the run. Everybody talks about his pass rushing skills, but he thinks he has a little more to prove when it comes to defending the run. He thinks he can show that tonight against Kansas State's rush offense.
All right, Laura, well, the opponent for Myles Garrett and the Aggies, and I bet you Myles Garrett is happy he's playing in this game because we got a great atmosphere. It is loud as the Wildcats get ready to take the field. Good matchup. Interesting in a lot of ways with Bill Snyder, 25 years in Manhattan, Kansas, and so many great things been said about his tenure there. All earned by a guy who's one of the great coaches in the history of college football. This was not a normal year, though, for the Wildcats. They started off slow, 8-4 the overall record. When you look back on it, though, all 4 losses to teams ranked in the top 25 in those playoff rankings, and they finished hot. 5 of their last 6 games they won, many of them in dominating fashion. This is a team that likes to run the ball. They play true Bill Snyder football. Almost all their scoring has come on the ground. Kevin Sumlin, who is trying to reverse a track record which has a lot of Aggies fans a little anxious. It was another year, Jesse, where A&M, I mean, they were in that initial college football ranking in the top 4, and they did not finish nearly as strong as the Wildcats did.
But very important for them to finish the season off on the right note. And certainly talking to the coaches and the players, they're all saying the right things. They have a lot of motivation, they feel, to come out tonight, play hard and win, looking for a 9-win season to send 18 seniors off on the right foot.
So you got lots of guys playing their final college games. Trevor Knight is one of them. And on the other side, Jordan Willis, who was the defensive player of the year in the Big 12. Kansas State goes so much against type, Jesse, where you think of the Big 12 and all the spread offenses and the high scoring and not much defense played. Wildcats have a very solid defensive team.
But I think that's one of the reasons why they feel confident tonight. We mentioned they won 5 of their last 6 games. They've been so good on offense, running the ball their last 6 games. Defensively, statistically, they're the best in the Big 12, and I think stylistically they feel like they match up great tonight. They're very good at running it on offense. A&M on defense has struggled stopping the run.
So here we go with a kickoff deep into the end zone, and Justin Evans is going to take a knee. It'll be a touchback. And Trevor Knight and the Aggies offense will come on the field to get this game started, and it will lead us into our Lexus impact players when Texas A&M has the ball.
Christian Kirk for Texas A&M has to get a lot of touches, both catching and running the football. He's the most dynamic player on offense for Texas A&M. We just talked about Jordan Willis. the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, probably getting overshadowed in this game because Myles Garrett's playing in it, but he's a big-time player. He's a complete player, stopping the run, rushing the passer, and Texas A&M's offensive line is going to have their hands full trying to slow down number 75.
Well, Kirk, the guy Jesse was just talking about, started in the backfield. Now he motions out, so Knight is all alone, and he'll throw. The first pass play of the game is complete to Ricky Seals-Jones, one of a talented core wide receivers. It's not just Christian Kirk.
No, and that's really the strength of this offense. You have the dynamic playmaker Kirk in at slot, outside Josh Reynolds, one of the best deep threats in the country. It was a good matchup everywhere for Trevor Knight.
A&M also has really been a good running team this year, and the first carry of the game to the junior Keith Ford for an A&M first down.
It's going to be important to establish that inside zone run. That's going to open up running opportunities for Trevor Knight at quarterback. It's also going to open up some opportunities in the play action passing game.
Ford will get the carry left edge with some speed to go along with his power, jumping up over a would-be tackler and very close to a first down. He's played well when he's been healthy. The numbers aren't overwhelming. The numbers on the ground. He is an athletic weapon in the run game. Quick hitter out to the right side. Another catch for Ricky Seals-Jones and an A&M first down.
And I think what you love about Trevor Knight is just the big play capability. He is a very fast runner. He can hit the home run in the zone read game. He also has the ability to extend plays with his scrambling ability. He's got a lot of arm talent. He can stretch the field vertically to Josh Reynolds and Christian Kirk. This offense is a home run waiting to happen with Trevor Knight under center.
Kirk comes in motion already across midfield, first drive of the game. Knight with a nice pocket, swings it out to Ford. Both of the running backs for A&M can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. A big hit and a fairly short game.
But I will say already, you can kind of see the health of Trevor Knight and how alive that arm looks. I remember you and I were calling his last regular season game against LSU. Pre-game, he had that sprained AC joint. Ball wasn't coming out like it's coming out tonight. It's been nice having those extra couple of weeks off because that arm looks juiced.
2nd and 7. Williams, another carry, and got met near the line of scrimmage. For a guy who's not that big in stature, he does have some power to him, and he pushed ahead for an extra couple yards.
It was Elijah Lee that was making the hit. First team all Big 12 linebacker. This guy's a tackling machine. Not the biggest linebacker, 6'3", about 228 pounds, but it's a nice stick.
So the first third down of the game for A&M, and a nice delivery. Reynolds breaks a tackle inside the 10, first and goal.
Josh Reynolds on a big body slam here on third down. He's got a big frame, 6'4" in these long arms. It's a good, accurate throw. Trevor Knight out in front. You see, not an easy guy to bring down.
19-yard completion to a receiver who's had a touchdown in 7 consecutive games. We'll see if they go to him here inside the 10. Try to make it 8. What an impressive start. Knight. Handoff. Ford. Touchdown.
Get a great block on this play by their left tackle Avery Genesee on the freshman Reggie Walker out here. Watch, this gets turned inside. They pull the backside tackle Coda Martin all the way across the formation to take out the linebacker Elijah Lee, and that opened up the crease for the Oklahoma transfer Keith Ford.
A couple Sooners in the backfield. Knight handed it off to Ford. Now Aggies, and playing well for A&M. What a start. 10 plays, 75 yards, just 3.5 minutes against, as we said, a legitimately solid defensive team. The extra point from Daniel LaCamera. Up and good. Well, in Houston, not that far from College Station, a lot of Aggies fans are here, and they are pumped with the way their team started. Keith Ford in the ground game, punching it in. A&M over Kansas State with the early 7-0 lead. This is Texas A&M getting the ball first and marching right down the field. Keith Ford punching it in. Now Myles Garrett will get ready to head on the field himself with the A&M defense. Our keys to the game brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage Company.
Texas A&M's defense has to be able to get off the field. Third down was a major issue for them in their last 4 games. And meanwhile, for Kansas State, they have to have a plan for Myles Garrett. Are they going to run away from him in pass protection and obvious third down situations, do they single, double, or triple team him? Go a long way to determine the kind of success they'll have on offense tonight.
Kansas State, who has always been such a good special teams team under Bill Snyder. No chance for a return. It's a touchback, and that means Jesse Ertz and the Wildcats offense will see them for the first time. Jesse Ertz, coming back from injury last year, he had a heck of a season.
He sure did. He is a true dual threat quarterback, but I think what makes him unique is his running ability. He's a big physical runner at 6'3", 212 pounds that can break tackles, but I think he's got deceptive speed. Doesn't look like he's running too fast. You watch the film, though, he's just running away from everybody. He's a very patient runner. He's able to set up blocks, and as a result, he averaged 79 rushing yards a game. That was sixth most of any quarterback in the FBS.
One of the best running quarterbacks in the country, Jesse Ertz on the field. Perfect throw. Pringle down the sideline. Touchdown. 79 yards. Wow.
And Pringle got a fantastic release at the line of scrimmage and was able to run right around the cornerback, Nick Harvey. Just excellent job of technique and being patient. Watch this. Just sets it up, puts his foot in the ground, and then it's pure speed. What a throw by Jesse Ertz right on the run. We talked about him being a very good passer. We just don't oftentimes ask him to do it in this offense, but you can't do that any better. This is not an offense known for a ton of explosive plays. They generally have to drive the field to score and eat up a lot of clock. But an explosion here early from Pringle in this K-State offense.
Yeah, Byron Pringle, he's kind of been the one guy who has produced some of those big plays. The sophomore from Tampa, extra point, sneaked it through the right upright. It took one play for Jesse Ertz and his offense to answer A&M and tie this game. Jesse's talked about Ertz. They don't ask him to throw very often, but when they do, he's been accurate. What a throw. I always love looking into the subtleties of the quarterback position.
This is a great job on this touchdown throw by Jesse Ertz, using his eyes to help manipulate this defense. Now he's got to hold the safety Larry Pryor on the hash to give himself room to complete this throw. You see how he was able, though, to use his eyes and just sort of peek without giving it away to see if his receiver Pringle got a good release. I think if he had just caught the ball and stared flat out with his head over to the right side, I think the safety may have gotten involved in that throw, but a nice job fundamentals, not just throwing the football and good footwork. Great job using your eyes.
Yeah, and you told us right from the start tonight, just because they don't ask him to throw a lot doesn't mean he can't throw. He's an accomplished passer in high school to go along with all the speed and good special teams coverage from the Wildcats. It has been a theme of this bowl season so far. A lot of upstarts, underdogs, not just playing close, but winning games. Kansas State is an underdog in this one, although not by much. Trevor Knight looking middle deep. Kirk intercepted. Kendall Adams, the safety, picked it off.
Texas A&M trying to use some misdirection. They're pump faking out left quickly and trying to buy Trevor Knight some time to get the throwback post to their most dangerous receiver in Christian Kirk. Look at this coverage by the safety Kendall Adams. Any quarterback in the country would love that matchup. You got your best receiver against the safety, but the throw a little bit underthrown. But how about the ball skills by Kendall Adams? Climbing the ladder and high pointing the football. You can't do that any better.
Tremendous. Now that's a sophomore. We saw the sophomore Pringle take the deep pass to the end zone. This is a young Kansas State team with a bright future.
And a defense that's done a great job taking the ball away. You see right there, 16 picks on the season. That's most in the Big 12. They only had 5 a year ago. That differential is the biggest turnaround difference in the entire country.
The only Power 5 teams with better turnover differential than Kansas State, Washington and Ohio State, both playoff teams. And they've done that very well. Juggle of the snap. That quick pass to the right side, complete to Isaiah Zuber.
You can see here that the identity of this Kansas State offense is to run the football. That's what they take pride in. And they're very, very interesting in the sense that they're like old school, new school. Old school in the personnel groupings they use. They love to use multiple tight ends and fullbacks. but they're new school with the schemes. They run a lot of plays out of the shotgun. They like the zone read. It's a very interesting combination that you don't see a lot in college football, and it makes preparing for them for an opposing defense so difficult.
Second down and 8. Keeper for Ertz, who got a block, got to that corner, now trying to get to the first down and gets very close.
And so it's a downhill kind of body blow rushing attack. They like to run the quarterback a lot with the extra blocker. And listen, Texas A&M, they've seen pro-style running attacks this year, and multiple tight ends and fullbacks. Saw it against UCLA, saw it against Arkansas, saw it against LSU, but they haven't seen this type of personnel grouping with the running scheme that Kansas State likes to use. So it's a good thing that Texas A&M has had this extra time, this extra couple of weeks trying to get prepared for Bill Snyder's offense.
Third and very short, and look at that formation. That looks old school to me.
They're not throwing it.
Ertz keeps it, got a shove from behind and got the first down. I think it's been a misconception with Bill Snyder because he does do things differently.
It's a lot of pounds.
A lot of pounds.
In that backfield. You got about 3 fullbacks back there pushing on Jesse. I mean, Jesse Ertz on that play is getting pushed from the front. He's getting pushed from the back. Not easy.
I mean, just because they use those old school personnel groups, they have been innovative under Bill Snyder. Heck, the Wildcat offense is, a lot of folks will say, called that because of Bill Snyder in Kansas State. Ertz now going to run with a penalty flag throw. Was trying to use a lead blocker and couldn't quite do it effectively. We'll see what the call is.
The penalty flag thrown out to the right side where receiver Byron Pringle was working one-on-one.
Holding. Defense. Number 1. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Well, Jesse Ertz has a matchup that he really likes right now, and it's Byron Pringle working against Nick Harvey. That was the matchup where they threw the long touchdown pass, and it seems like when Texas A&M is getting aggressive outside and they're lining up in that press bump and run type coverage, that's immediately where Jesse Ertz's eyes are going.
Well, and remember, they threw that long touchdown pass on first down. This last play was a first down play where they were looking to throw the ball.
Well,
it's
a good idea to do that as a coaching staff, right? You know, you're running offense, and on first down, obviously the defense is expecting run, so you throw the changeup.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, this game changed pretty dramatically from the great start for the Aggies of A&M. As we get to the end of quarter number 1, Kansas State has found their footing. Great crowd, great energy in Houston, and a fun game so far. Aggies and Wildcats 7-7. Start of the second quarter here at NRG Stadium in Houston. A&M had the ball first, went right down the field. Keith Ford touchdown made it 7-0 Aggies. But the big play to Byron Pringle, 79-yard touchdown catch. And Kansas State's defense has cooled off the quarterback Trevor Knight and his Aggies offense. Wildcats have the ball in Texas A&M territory. 1st and 10 as the second quarter starts. Jesse Ertz trying to just wait patiently for a hole to open up. And I guess maybe there was a little bit of a hole there, but he got tackled after a gain of a yard.
Yeah, it's a run pass option play where it's a quarterback draw called, but receivers are also running routes on the perimeter of the field. And if Jesse Ertz looks outside and sees a look that he likes, he can spit the football out there. And these run pass options have become so common now in college football, and it really puts defenses in a bind.
Bill Snyder's team looks a lot better than it did in the early minutes of this game. A&M crowding the line of scrimmage. Play clock starting to wind down. The fullback split out wide right, and they just got the play off. A handoff and out into the open field. The running back Silman with a cut to the 10 inside the 5.
It looked like Dalen Mack, number 5, was going to blow this play up in the backfield. Jesse Ertz did the right thing, ended up handing it off here on the zone read. And just tremendous feed by Justin Silman here, making a couple guys miss in the back. There's 1, 2, gets outside. He's able to make another defender in the secondary. That's the safety Larry Pryor. Miss as well.
Well, that went from almost a disaster for Kansas State to a 28-yard carry and 1st and goal. And the part of the field now where The Wildcats are just so tough to stop.
And they use their fullback Winston Dimmel as the Wildcat quarterback right now in this area of the field. He's set up behind center.
Dimmel back in the game as a fullback. Ertz throws to Pringle. He'll get down to the 5.
That's the favorite route combo for Kansas State. They like to run the slot receiver on a seam route and kind of clear out the middle of the defense, and then they have the outside receiver, in this case Byron Pringle, running the underneath route. It's the same play. Peyton Manning made a living on this, throwing to Marvin Harrison with the Indianapolis Colts. Nice job there getting a lot of that lost yardage back.
One of the best red zone teams in college football. Ertz gonna keep it. Uses that acceleration and a stiff arm touchdown. What a great patient run by the quarterback Jesse Ertz.
I think you hit it on the head. Patience. He's got to allow the right tackle Dalton Risner to pull around all the way to the right left side and the fullback to get out in front. He just lets those blocks set up. We talked about his physicality as a runner. 6'3", 212 pounds there, showing off the stiff arm.
Was that Justin Evans that he put on the turf?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the bigger hitters in the SEC.
Mom's happy. 8 plays, 55 yards, even with those penalties on 1st and goal. Kansas State punches it in. First lead of the game for the Wildcats. Ian Patterson had his point after blocked. Well, we'll see if the Aggies can turn it into something.
Yes, Sue, it was Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he got a hand up.
15 in the middle of that defense. He was able to get that big right paw up, make an impact on special teams.
Saves his team a point.
The NFL scouts are like this. Star defensive players that start on special teams and still play hard. Well, a couple miscues early for Kansas State that you don't see. We talked about the penalties. Special teams is another thing that generally they're excellent in. It'll be interesting to see down the road in this game just how big of an impact having that extra point block is in this game.
Well, you think of programs defined by special teams in the last couple decades even. Virginia Tech would come to mind under Frank Beamer. And I think Kansas State under Bill Snyder has just been a huge part of what they've done. The kicking game has been ragged, though. 77 years old, still doing the old Bill Snyder stuff where no breakfast, no lunch, in the office all day, walk on the treadmill while you're watching film, maybe have a sandwich at the end of the day, and just do it over and over and over again.
And loves to wear a suit. I mean, he's a legend. And you know, what's cool is that when you talk to his players, they have so much respect, I think, and admiration for him, current and past. He just speaks so glowingly about the best coach in their school history.
Well, in a game here in Houston where it was looking like maybe we had an overmatch early, A&M came out firing. And now look at it, 12-19 to go in the first half. It's 13-7 Wildcats. Trevor Knight, little run throw to Kirk on that left side, got stopped short of a first down.
I love the idea because you got to get number 3 the ball. You got to do it creatively. You can throw it to him conventionally, hand it off to him, pitch it to him like that. But you see the drive charts. It was a very fast start, and ever since, Kansas State's defense started making life tougher for Trevor Knight.
That will officially go down as a pass. That snaps is 0 for 5. Trevor Knight's. He's gone cold after the hot start. Hand off on 2nd down. Ford lowers the boom at the 45. First down, A&M.
Really nice job with a block by the left tackle, Avery Genesee. Talk about athleticism. 6'5", 315 pounds. Watch him pull all the way across the formation to get a block on Elijah Lee, and that helps spring the running back Keith Ford.
Quick snap. Another big hole for Ford into Kansas State territory. Hit at the end, but hung on to the football.
The tempo is cranking up right now for Texas A&M. That's a big difference between these two offenses. They both do like to run the ball, but Kansas State generally takes their time. A&M, they're trying to run as many snaps as they possibly can.
Now Trevion Williams, the true freshman, back in. Another throw. Ricky Seals-Jones dropped it. That almost had the look. Now, I don't know, maybe he was just looking to pick up a block, but the kid who was a high school quarterback, he's a guy you could see on some trick play formations, but he dropped the ball. Well, the tempo discussion that you were having, yeah, there's a huge difference between the way these two teams like to do it. I think the tempo of the A&M offense in a funny way, became a bit of a problem late in the year. Their defense got exposed. Just on the field for a lot of plays, a lot of time. Knight threw it behind Ricky Seals-Jones, incomplete.
I think here, if you're Texas A&M on a 3rd and 10 scenario, if you're Trevor Knight, you're trying to find number 3 Christian Kirk, and he's the guy that they like to move around on these 3rd down situations. The defenses are in big zone coverages with 2 high safeties. They like to try and get Christian Kirk isolated, working over the middle of the field. Right now, they've got him lined up at the top of the screen in the slot. There's kind of that standard kind of quarters look from Kansas State defensively.
Reynolds, the guy all alone on the right side. Looking towards Reynolds, going deep. It is caught. What a catch by Josh Reynolds.
Great job by Trevor Knight IDing the corner blitz coming from the near side of the field. So right away he knew he had his best deep threat one-on-one with a safety. And number 21, Kendall Adams. Here's the catch radius I'm talking about with Josh Reynolds. Look at this. Those long arms at 6'4", just able to pluck the football out of the air. Very, very nearly came up with his 8th receiving touchdown in the last 8 games.
Well, maybe he can get one here. 1st and goal, Texas A&M. Williams, the tailback. Knight keeps it and throws. Jones stepped out of bounds. Now, he was powering forward toward that pylon, but he was out back inside the 4-yard line.
Yeah, these zone read type runs with these wide receiver attachments are tough to defend. It basically becomes like a triple option look almost. And it's not an easy tackle right there by Donnie Starks working against a 240-pound wide receiver. Now, I think down in this area of the field, inside the 5-yard line, I think Trevor Knight's legs become a factor in the zone read game. We talked about his speed, his ability to get outside. As a defense, you have to honor and respect this guy's ability to run the football.
2nd and goal. Knight throwing toward the corner of the end zone. Touchdown.
There's Ricky Seals-Jones. That's the 8th time in this game that Trevor Knight has targeted his big wide receiver in the slot. This time, they're kind of running him on a delayed wheel route, one-on-one. He's able to get behind the nickel defender 3 more. How about this? The big hands, there's the foot down. Is the ball moved? Is it wobble?
Woo!
I think he had it the entire time.
I do too.
That's a touchdown.
Strong fingers. Because
wow, what an accurate throw too there by Trevor Knight over the shoulder. I mean, that's down the chimney.
It's hard to believe when you watch that that is his 1st touchdown catch of the year.
You're right.
The guy who is going to make the decision after this game whether to declare for the draft and go pro or come back for another year in College Station. He's kind of making a statement tonight, having his best game of the year by far. Extra point is good.
Is Texas A&M able to retake the lead here midway through the 2nd?
Ambitious.
It could be that Trevor Knight is the most positive, upbeat player in college football. Can you tell where he gets it from?
It's his parents there on the right. I like how they've been on camera before. I mean, they know where our camera is. See Dad just giving the kick right there. That's good.
Yeah, he's an easy guy to root for, Trevor Knight, because he just sort of kills you with his positivity. He has been an attitude changer for this Aggies program. Kickoff deep to the Wildcats, who are going to bring it out on a return to the 20, 25, and hit there. Is that the kicker who put the hit on?
I think it was.
I think so. Braden Mann made the tackle. So Kansas State now down by a point with the ball again. The fake end around. Ertz kept it and got right near the 1st down. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, A&M defensive tackle Zakovic Henderson was taken into the locker room on a cart with a right leg injury. They've been working with Daylon Mack a good bit, trying to get him up to speed on everything. He's a backup on this D-line, but he does play a good bit.
Laura, that's a big loss for this defense because Zakovic Henderson's been making a ton of plays in the interior of that line. Good news for them, though. They do have a lot of other D tackles that are very athletic.
It's a deep well, the Wildcats right back into Texas A&M territory. Ertz on 1st down. That one is complete for 10 more yards. Deontay Burton.
it's kind of been Jekyll and Hyde this year for this Texas A&M defense. You see the good. Anything happening in the opponent's backfield has been good. Lots of tackles for loss, lots of sacks. Bad, haven't been great against the run. And in the last month of the season, their last 4 games, they really struggled on 3rd down.
And John Chavis, their defensive coordinator, a long-time excellent defensive coach in college football, was not happy about the way his defense played in the second half of the year. That one, I thought it might have been tipped, and the pass was completed inside the 25 to Heath.
Well, a big problem, too, for this defense, Dave, is that they've just played way too many snaps. 974 snaps for John Chavis in this defense. It's the most of any Power 5 team in the country. And I think the biggest problem, you take a look at that right there. So they're playing, what is that? 240 more snaps than LSU. That's basically 3 more games.
That's incredible. It really is. 2nd and 5. Ertz picking his way forward, took a hit and got a yard. By the way, we should just mention they looked at that catch and confirmed that it was a catch while we were in the break.
And so now here's a critical 3rd down for Texas A&M's defense. Back before the break, we talked about how this defense had played too many snaps this year. The biggest problem, especially in the month of November, was 3rd down, their inability to get off the field. So far, they've held Kansas State 1 for 3 on 3rd downs. They need a big stop here.
3rd and 4. Ertz handed it off, and that one was stacked up. Nowhere to go. Justin Silman. He might have lost a half a yard.
Well, Laura told us that Coven Henderson out of the game, so one of his backups, Reggie Chevis, that time lining up a nose guard right over the center, did a great job getting penetration and push right in the middle of this defense. There was nowhere for the running back, Silman, to go. Forced to cut back inside. Nice job by this banged up defensive line by Texas A&M making a play. And there's that big 3rd down stop they just were not able to come up with very often in their last 4 games of the regular season.
Well, now Ian Patterson, who's kind of the fill-in kicker, is going to try a field goal from 40 yards out.
He's got to get it up. Remember, Garrett blocked the last one.
He did, and he punched it through. So the kick game, which has been so shaky for the Wildcats, converts the field goal, and Kansas State back ahead 16-14.
Must-watch TV, though, man. Those are 2 awesome matchups.
Yeah, really are. And the question for Washington, can they hang with Alabama? Would be a huge upset. Kickoff deep and a touchback. Speaking of upsets, these 2 teams have a lot of history playing in the same conference. We go back to 1998, the Big 12 championship game. They played this in St. Louis indoors. Now Kansas State, to set this up, they were number 3 in the country. Number 2 had lost. Michael Bishop at the end of the game heaved one down, not quite to the end zone, so it went to overtime. And it took 2 overtimes. The Aggies, who were a good team themselves, pulled off what was an upset. Michael Bishop was here honored before the game tonight. Just a tremendous player.
I was playing at Florida when he was in school, and we used to love just watching him play. And probably losing that game kept them out of the national championship game.
Yeah, they were in line to go after number 2 had lost, and I think it was Tennessee they would have played for the national title.
Yeah, I think they had a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter of that Big 12 title game too.
A loss of a couple of yards, and we'll welcome in Laura.
Well, Dave, Kansas State defensive end Jordan Willis said that 1998 game between these 2 teams is one of his first memories of college football. He was about 3 at the time and remembers watching it and thinking, hey, I think I might like to play that game.
I think that was a good decision, Laura.
It's also loud here. This is a neutral site bowl game. These schools brought a lot of fans on both sides. That's Kirk who gets the handoff from Knight and just didn't have a lot of room.
Tremendous speed that time. Shermichael Moore, number 52, and the safety, number 22, Dante Barnett. Again, out in space. And they see this all the time in the Big 12. With all the spread offenses they play, they're used to dynamic ball carriers having the football in space and having to run sideline to sideline and make tackles, but just fundamentally so sound on defense.
These are the spots where they've targeted Josh Reynolds, and they've had 2 long 3rd down conversions to number 11. Knight stepping up, and he'll go down. Jordan Willis just led the way.
It's a bad idea trying to block the defensive player of the year from the Big 12 Conference with one guy and a backup offensive lineman in Coda Martin, and that's what they do here. You're going to see him. He's lining up outside wide. Look at this tilt outside. He's able to generate so much speed out of his stance. He gets upfield and also plays with phenomenal effort. Runs by the quarterback, doesn't quit. Collects his 12th and a half sack on the season.
Got some help from the freshman Reggie Walker, who's going to be a really good player. There's a penalty flag, I think, that was thrown as that ball was punted. So the sack for Jordan Willis, and the Wildcats defense gets Kansas State the ball back here in Houston. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer back here in Houston. Do you agree with me? Kansas State's handled Myles Garrett?
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job. I mean, welcome to Myles Garrett's world. This is every week now. He's getting double team, triple team, cut block. They run away from him. No quarterback takes 7-step drops. So far in this game, this offense has been very aware of where number 15 is lined up. And no tackles tonight so far in this game. Now, he did block the extra point on special teams. He's made his impact felt there.
It's going to be a tough question, I think, for a lot of the scouts, because he is going to be picked at the top of the draft, whether it's 1, 2, 5, whatever it is. He is so gifted, but the production level has not been great. And I think it has to do with what you're talking about. First down, that pass complete to Zuber, the redshirt freshman.
But it's the ultimate sign of respect, though, right? I mean, when you go out of your way as an offensive play caller to account for this guy every single snap. Listen, played injured a lot of this year, right? Had the high ankle sprain against Arkansas, missed a couple games, was playing injured against Alabama and Tennessee and Mississippi State, and still generated 8.5 sacks on the season. So to me, that's remarkable. He's a guy that commands respect, and I think Kansas State's game plan tonight, no different.
Yeah, lots of those scouts who are here tonight. Keep your eyes on Garrett. Out into the open. A big play for Kansas State. Dominique Heath, touchdown.
Kansas State able to outflank Texas A&M with speed on the perimeter, going to the jet sweep to their slot receiver, Dominique Heath. They get a great block out on the perimeter by the fullback, Winston Dimmel. But at 5'9", 175 pounds, this guy's like a water bug, man. He can cut and he's explosive. Look at the speed, able to get outside. We're oftentimes used to seeing Kansas State kind of these north-south runs with quarterbacks and running backs. Nice little change up. Getting the wide receivers involved now in the running game. This offense for Kansas State now, they're coming alive too.
You must not be big if your coach can deadlift you after you run 52 yards for a touchdown. But that coach couldn't catch him. So it's 23-14 as the teams head to the locker room. Let's send it down with Coach Snyder. Here's Laura.
All right, thank you. Coach, how would you describe the final seconds of this half?
Well, at my age, probably a little heart issues there. You know, not getting the timeout or not getting the clock to run out and then getting a penalty on that. You know, that penalty is a big play because we're going to lose all that yardage on the kickoff return in the second half.
2 turnovers for your defense in the first half. How do they affect A&M?
Well, I think turnovers affect anybody, you know, and obviously the big pass interception was a positive thing for us. And the other one we got, both of them are big plays.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Bill Snyder and his Wildcats with the halftime lead, 23-14. Really entertaining game. The Aggies were the team that got off to the quick start, but it was the Wildcats who controlled it. After that, we're going to send you back to studio after these messages. Back in Houston, this is the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. The site of Super Bowl 51 in a few weeks. A&M and Kansas State. It's 23-14. The Wildcats heavily. And these kids, there's been a lot of energy in the building. These kids clearly are into this game. This was just a moment ago coming out of the locker room. Kansas State and A&M. The Aggies were a little outnumbered there, Jesse. But I think a lot of spirit behind this game. It was really an interesting first half. Texas A&M got off to a great start. After that, though, what do the Wildcats do to get this lead?
Well, I think it was impressive. I think both on offense and defense. A lot of what you expect to see from Kansas State week in, week out. And a couple surprises, too. What you always know you're going to see defensively from Kansas State is playing sound, not giving up a lot of explosive plays, and doing a great job creating takeaway. Bill Snyder should be very pleased with both sides of the ball.
Now, Kansas State will get the ball here to start the second half, but because of the penalty at the end of the first half, unsportsmanlike against the Wildcats, Aggies are going to kick off from midfield, and who knows, maybe some bad feelings from that had something to do with the pushing and shoving we saw just a moment ago. I thought maybe A&M would have considered an onside kick from midfield down 9. Instead, they just kick it deep. And the Wildcats were having the ball just a moment ago. Laura Rutledge with Kevin Sumlin.
Thanks, Coach. 3 explosive plays from Kansas State's offense. How should your defense adjust?
Yeah, we got to contain them. I mean, we either stopped them or gave up a home run. We got to be more consistent on defense and offensively, too. So, you know, we just got to play our game, settle back down, and keep our energy level high. It's a lot of football to be playing.
How have they limited Myles Garrett?
Well, they've got a different protection scheme. They're helping with the fullback over there. They're sprinting away, doing some things. We got to have some other guys. There's 10 other guys on the field too. We got to play team defense.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks to Kevin Sumlin. Kansas State ball. Charles Jones with the carry on first down.
Well, I think one thing they've done is they've had a plan for Myles Garrett, and a big part of that plan has been running away from him to the right side of their formation. That makes sense if you're Kansas State, because their best offensive linemen are on the right side. You talk about right guard Terrell Johnson and their right tackle Dalton Risner. Both of those guys were named first team all Big 12 selections. That's the strength of this O-line. Texas A&M is predominantly lining up Myles Garrett to the left, so just keep running away from him, I think, if you're the Wildcats.
First minutes of the second half. Ertz throwing. He's got his man wide open for a first down and more. That's Dominique Heath, who gets wrestled out of bounds around the 45-yard line.
It was a bit of a coverage bust that time by Texas A&M. Kansas State lined up in a bunch look, and there was some confusion in the secondary. Nobody was covering Dominique Heath in the slot. We talked about Texas A&M had been really good on third down there in the first half. On the first critical third down of the second, you got a mental error, and it costs the Aggies.
In some ways, the story of their offensive line is the story of their season. On first down, Jones with the carry up the middle, big hole, and tripped up across midfield.
Well,
Myles Garrett was in pursuit.
This O-line has done such a great job with respect to improvement throughout the course of the season. Only 17 combined starts came back from a year ago. When you watch these guys play week 1 against Stanford, they look lost. But they've been able to stay relatively healthy throughout the course of the year. They were able to gel, communicated well, develop confidence. Their last 6 games, they're averaging 290 rushing yards a game. It's remarkable. You have to give their offensive line coach, Charlie Dickey, a ton of credit.
Second down, a short gain. The guy in charge of that Kansas State offensive line, developing young players, moving guys around.
You know, I think staying healthy was really key. I mean, really, with the exception of the left guard position, everybody else started every game up front. And I just think having that continuity was really beneficial. And it's hard to keep continuity in college football week in, week out with injuries up front.
3rd and 2, they threw it on this down and distance a moment ago. Ertz pressured again by Garrett. That one is caught, but short of a first down. Myles Garrett was right in the face of the quarterback.
Yeah, Myles Garrett just has an unbelievable ability to contort his body and bend. And that time he was able to fight his way around Scott Franz, get in on Jesse Ertz, forcing an early throw. Nice job by Donovan Wilson contesting that throw. Watch Myles Garrett, like a guy that's 6'5" that can get that low to the ground that quickly. We were watching him stretch before the game on the field. His flexibility is off the charts.
You surprised that Kansas State's not going for it? They will punt the ball away. It was 4th and about a half a yard. Fair catch made at the 10 by Christian Kirk. So the Aggies defense holds to start the second half. Now Trevor Knight and company will head out on the field when we come back. Myles Garrett trying to make his presence felt in this Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. He and the Aggies trail. Well, for Texas A&M Aggies fans, it's a season that's been maybe a little too familiar here in recent A&M history. Started the year 6-0, fourth in the first college football playoff rankings, but they lost 4 of their last 6 games, including their last 4 SEC games. Part of it, maybe a huge part of it, Trevor Knight hurt. He is back for this bowl game. He was back for the regular season finale. He goes down on first down, sacked. Another big play for Jordan Willis.
He's a complete player. He's every offensive coordinator's nightmare because not only is he a good pass rusher, but he can also play the run. Look at the strength at the point of attack and the ability with violent hands to shed the right tackle. Then with his right arm, just sort of drag Trevor Knight to the ground. That's a lot of hand strength. This guy doesn't leave the field, plays every snap.
Knight throws, and that one is on a ricochet, caught by Kirk. What a wild play that was. Right through the hands of Tabuyo, and there was Christian Kirk behind him.
That's just how you draw it up. If you're offensive coordinator Noel Mazzoni, this is a laser from Trevor Knight. That goes through the hands, off the helmet of Tabuyo, and a great job on the concentration drill by Christian Kirk. They need to get him more touches. I know that one wasn't supposed to go to him. He only had 3 targets in the first half.
A fairly quick tempo. Ford trying to get to the corner, does. Keith Ford cuts it upfield into Kansas State territory.
He's a guy that's really come on here late too for this offense. He's a more physical runner that does a lot of his damage in between the tackles, but that time you see the speed getting outside. He had his first 100-yard rushing game against LSU since he transferred to Texas A&M. The big run there here early in the second half.
A little bit of a limp as he comes off the field. I don't know if that was just pure fatigue. Maybe on Williams straight ahead with the burst, the true freshman, another Aggies first down.
There's that inside zone play that this offensive line I think has done a really good job of all year long, and they're good getting double team blocks. That time the center and left guard get a great double team on number 99, the nose guard. Trey Deshawn, they're able to get some movement in the second level.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage. They'll hand it off to Williams again. That cut, that got him maybe an extra couple yards inside the 15. So that's Keith Ford over on the sideline. They're working on his left leg. Meanwhile, the true freshman who became the first Aggies running back to go over 1,000 yards rushing in his first year on campus in their history.
And impressive because he's got a lot of speed, but the ability to run between the tackles and run outside. He's complete in the running game.
Hometown game for him, as it is for so many of these A&M players. Knight throws, perfect delivery to Reynolds, first down.
Yeah, good timing that time by Trevor Knight. They've tried that throw a couple times and Trevor Knight's missed it. I think that time did a good job staying patient. He held on to it just for a split second longer and watched the throw come open. But there's velocity on a throw that I haven't seen him make since early in the Mississippi State game when he hurt his AC joint in that right throwing shoulder.
First and goal. He gutted it out against LSU, came back way sooner than anybody thought possible. He looks a lot fresher now. They'll throw that jump ball. Reynolds, touchdown. After what happened at the end of the first half, he did well not to get a penalty. Another touchdown for Josh Reynolds. That's 8 straight games.
Josh Reynolds and Donnie Starks, to your point, they've been kind of duking it out all game long. I think Josh Reynolds has come up on the winning side here a couple times. You talk about the catch radius. That's an underthrown fade ball. But some receivers just have the knack of timing up these throws and timing their jump and able to pluck the football out of the air with those long arms. What a season their co-offensive MVP has had, Josh Reynolds.
90 yards. That drive started at the 10, and there was a sack on the first play of the drive. That was impressive and big for the Aggies, who get within 2 with the extra point up and good. Been a lot of jawing back and forth. Josh Reynolds, after that catch, gets to do the talking here. Texas A&M, their defense came up with a stop. The offense goes the length of the field, and they're down just 2 in Houston. I think with every single bowl game, part of the week for the players, for the teams, is not just having fun themselves, but also doing some good in the local communities. And the players on both sides did that here in Houston this week, now doing some good on the field. We've seen some big time plays for the Aggies, for the Wildcats, and we get a 2-point game. That one is returnable. DJ Reed from right around the goal line. Reed stopped at the 20. First down, Kansas State. Heck of a run by Silman in the midst of it all. Ertz is going deep again into double coverage and incomplete.
Going back to Myles Garrett for a second, I think one of his strongest assets is his love for the game. You know, big news around college football here in recent weeks is guys like Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey deciding to kind of forego that bowl game and not play. And here's a guy that could risk losing a lot with an injury that wanted to come out here and play in this game. Earlier in the year, he gets that high ankle sprain against Arkansas, and there's a lot of dudes in his position that would have just shut it down and been like, hey, I'm not going to hurt my draft stock. He played hurt in big games against Bama, Tennessee, and Mississippi State because he knew it was important to his team's chances to reach a playoff. And that love for the game, I mean, NFL scouts and GMs, they have to take account of that. They have to take notice of that.
Still on the sideline. I agree with you. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a contact lens issue as well. Second down. Handoff. Silman out into the open. Another big play for the Wildcats. Wrestled out of bounds inside the 35 by Larry Pryor.
Really nice job by the O-line working the double team, and Abdul Beecham, the left guard, doing a nice job climbing into the second level here and then a chip op up here. When you can get hats into the second level on these linebackers, you get them playing on their heels. That's what helps spring these running backs into the second level. And again, another explosive play on offense for Kansas State.
And I will say this, the point you've been making all night long, Myles Garrett finally goes to the sideline. That's about the first time they've run in that direction all game.
Absolutely right.
As soon as he left the game, they went right at that spot. And got the big play of 36 yards. Silman, they're going that way again. Well, since we're talking about Myles Garrett, how about our PlayStation View player spotlight? The guy who is the active FBS leader in sacks, Defensive Player of the Year award finalist, unanimous first-team All-American. Even with the production level down a little bit, Mel Kiper's got him #1 on the big board. Todd McShay has him #2.
Yeah, it's just rare to find guys that impact the game the way he does. John Chavis, their defensive coordinator, obviously, he's had a lot of good ones at LSU and Tennessee, other places he's been over the years. I don't know if he's ever had one as good as Myles Garrett at defensive end.
So Browns fans, 49ers fans, that's a nifty play by Ertz to the fullback who's inside the 10, Dimmel.
This is a great scheme they use on offense. This fullback pop pass where they make it look like it's going to be quarterback draw, and the fullback acts like he's going to block the linebacker, and at the last second runs around him. You saw Colin Klein back in the day throw that. We've seen Waters. We've seen multiple quarterbacks at Kansas State have success. Remember, it was Gronkowski. Remember?
Yeah.
Catching the ball, your old fullback who's now in the NFL with the Patriots. He's the beneficiary of that. These interesting and these dynamic schemes that Bill Snyder and this coaching staff utilize that you just don't see very much throughout the country.
Just the second catch on either side by a non-wide receiver. That handoff to Silman. Got about to the 5 with Garrett still on the sideline now. Number 15 is going to jog back on the field. They get the contact lens sorted out. So here he comes.
It's kind of an area of the field that Kansas State likes to get the fullback in the game, and Winston Dimmel run that Wildcat package. They've got 5 different running backs that they can use in these types of scenarios. So many different personnel formations and packages for Myles Garrett. Still held to without a tackle here so far in this game. Expect them not to run it left here.
Well, they went towards him. Garrett helped stop it.
And Garrett blew the play up.
Maybe they didn't know he was back in the game.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a reason why they haven't been going that way. There's a reason why teams don't do it. Watch him take on the double team, get a little bit of push. When Jesse Ertz had to step up, there was nowhere to go. That doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but that's a first-round caliber play.
Yeah, that's where those no tackles are a little misleading. It's loud. Third and goal. Ertz Incomplete. Donovan Wilson wanted a chance to intercept it.
Well, he kind of tripped over himself when he was starting his back pedal, and had he kept his feet, he would have been able to make that interception in the end zone. I think he knows it. It was a great job in coverage, man-to-man. He's trying to cover the smash route from the slot. Watch right here. It was a great job falling off of it. Right when he turned around, just kind of got tangled up on himself. Otherwise, that ball was underthrown. He would have picked that off.
They're still upset that he didn't come up with the turnover. Ian Patterson, who has made a field goal in this game. This kick is good. Kansas State marches down the field, 71 yards. A&M holds them to a field goal, though. We got a 5-point game. We have a good, fun game here tonight between two old conference rivals who don't play in the same league anymore, but are acting like it tonight. Not just big plays and nice performances in a close game, but emotion on both sides.
I think there's some familiarity too between a lot of these players.
The true freshman Travion Williams, who will carry it this time, straight ahead for 5.
It's a better run blocking offensive line than they are a pass protecting offensive line. They're big too. They're 311 pounds across the board. We've seen tonight they can get movement, get push, work the double team blocks, climb up into the second level. Big reason why they're running for about 48 yards per game more than they did a year ago. And you got to give their offensive line coach Jim Turner a ton of credit.
I mean, they basically have no depth left whatsoever. So it's a precarious situation. That one caught on the left side for a first down. Jeremy Tabuyo with some tough running after the catch, close to midfield.
You know, for the success of this offense, you see a little chapper in there. There's Avery Genesee, the left tackle, getting involved, but having continuity on the O-line, not just players, but coaches too. Jim Turner, he's the 3rd different offensive line coach they've had in the last 3 years. Came from the Miami Dolphins, actually coached at Texas A&M for 4 seasons. Very, very highly respected around the world of college football, and it's important Kevin Sumlin was able to keep him. The success of this offense moving forward with Noel Mazzoni calling plays.
Well, Willis is off the field. They fake an end around type play, and they're going to the end zone. Incomplete. What a play on the ball. Duke Shelley knocked it away, trying to go to Josh Reynolds.
That's outstanding defense in the secondary. Josh Reynolds looks like he has a step on him here at the post throw, and it's a good throw. Duke Shelley, who injured his lower leg against Baylor, had to miss the last couple games of the regular season, making a monster play, and it's clean. Swatting it away with the left hand, the ability to ID the football in the air. Not very big at 5'9", 175, giving up about 7 inches in height to Josh Reynolds. Nice play.
Really nice. You can make a case that Josh Reynolds has been the most impressive player in this game. Knight throws middle, and it's dropped. And on the ricochet.
And gets picked.
Well, one is saying incomplete, one is saying complete, and they're going to get together and say incomplete. Pope should have had it, then Kendall Adams tried to scoop it.
Yeah, there have been too many
on the
drops.
field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
I thought this was, no, it hits the ground for sure. It definitely hits the ground, but too many drop balls for Texas A&M. I understand that Trevor Knight's healthier again and he's throwing with more velocity. You got to pick it up. 5 drops so far in this game for the Aggies. Now setting up 3rd and long.
This is the 7th time in this game they've had 3rd and 10 or longer.
This is kind of when Kansas State can get exotic here on these 3rd down looks too. They got 4 DNs in the game to get more speed. They don't blitz very often. When they do, though, it comes on 3rd down.
Knight option play, keeps it. Knight broke a tackle and got tripped up inside the 35 by Kendall Adams, who's really been impressive.
And I think you're going here if you're Texas A&M. This is going to be a long field goal. Down 5.
I thought so too, and now they're sending Daniel the camera out on the field. Now it is the final few seconds of the quarter, so who knows, maybe Kevin Sumlin will have a moment to reconsider. We'll find out when we come back. Heck of a game so far, the Texas Bowl. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the Aggies sort of came to life in that quarter. Josh Reynolds making big plays, but Kansas State, the team with the 5-point lead. The Advocare V100 Texas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. And in between the 3rd and 4th quarters, you'd think you were in College Station. 26-21. That's the score. Kansas State leading the Aggies of A&M. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, Laura Rutledge. We've had a good one. And A&M looks like they are going to attempt what would be a career-long field goal try. I'm going to call it 52 yards. This is an interesting decision. They do have a quarterback, Connor McQueen, who's their holder. Just keep that in mind. Snap hole, they are kicking, and it is on the way. No good. Not quite enough.
I understand the thought process. If you're Kevin Sumlin, obviously you want to get the game to a point where you're down only 2, need a field goal to go up, and you're in a dome, and it's good kicking conditions, but Camara's long as a 49-yarder all year, and I think that was a situation that the way the offense has been running the ball and the big plays they've made with a healthier Trevor Knight, I would have liked my chances going for it there on 4. That's a long kick.
Yeah. On our Advocare game summary, A&M got the ball first, went right down the field and scored, and looked like it was going to be their night.
We talked a lot about Trevor Knight in this game. He's made some big plays, but how about Jesse Ertz? Very kind of, I feel like quietly, has gone 13 of 17, been extremely efficient, threw a nice touchdown pass early in the game. Really hasn't had an effect running the ball like he has all season long.
Ertz, first down to midfield with the completion to Pringle.
And a great pocket by the offensive line. That time, Texas A&M, they're bringing 5. Just a phenomenal job. Just look at this wall. We're able to build around Jesse Ertz. He's got great vision and a wide open receiver. And again, we talk about the efficient night Jesse Ertz is having. He hasn't missed a lot. It's an offense, they don't ask him to throw very much, but I'm telling you, that's not indicative of his skill set throwing the ball.
I'm with you. Gain of 19 for Ertz. So that was a big conversion there. Handoff, Silman straight ahead inside the 40, down to the 39.
It's so funny. Myles Garrett out of the game again, so they run left. They know where number 15 is at all times. They know exactly where he's sitting right now on the bench if he is sitting. I mean, when he's in the game, they only run to the right side. That's what LSU did. They ran for 298 yards against the Aggies late in the year. And that dude's off the field. Your entire playbook opens up.
Second and 6. This time it's not quite as obvious why he's not on the field. Maybe just a regular rest. Option play. Ertz straight ahead for a yard.
Third down, guess who's coming back on? Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall, number 10. This is really one of the better pass rushing defensive end tandems in the country. Deshaun Hall's made some nice plays here tonight. He's another guy that's going to have an opportunity, I think, to make a lot of money on Sundays.
A&M showed some pressure. Ertz keeps it and gets the first down and more to the 20. Then takes a big hit inside the 20, but hangs on to the ball.
Yeah, a good decision by Jesse Ertz because he sees the pressure coming from the field and he knows that they can't pick it up. So he just does the smart thing and says, look, if you're going to bring that blitz and I can't get it, then I'm just going to take off away from where the pressure's coming from. He's been taking big shots all season long.
Ouch. Deshaun Hall got a big hit on him, but the first down and much more inside the 20. Second, third down conversion for Kansas State on this drive. Play clock winding down. Hand off left side. And that time towards Myles Garrett, who stopped the play.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Jesse Ertz a moment ago and the toughness. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Kansas State's quarterback. He tore his ACL his senior year of high school, tore the same ACL last year, first play of the season, missed the year, yet here he is this season, leads the team in attempts. Guy takes big shot after big shot. He's their leading rusher, never complains.
Silman leaves the backfield. Ertz, that looked like a design run with the fullback in front to the 10, to the 5, toward the goal line and stopped just a yard short.
Again, it's the patience setting up and selling this quarterback draw. When you watch him drop back, he makes this look as if he's going to throw this to the right, and he gives time for his fullback to get out in front. And there's the speed again that nobody respects. This guy in high school was on the 4x100-meter relay state championship team. He's a dangerous, dangerous weapon on the run.
I think they got the spot right. Poor dad.
You don't want to waste all the energy like standing up and jumping around. If you can get an angle kind of through some of the heads there to the Jumbotron, just save your juice.
Yeah.
You know?
He's definitely not looking at the play on the field. He's sneaking a peek up on that video board.
It's not his dad's first rodeo.
Having a big game. Here's that big time power formation. Ertz with the push. I don't think so. Stop short.
They do a lot of really interesting things in goal line situations, whether it's these three fullback look quarterback sneaks that we've seen tonight, or the fullback Winston Dimmel playing the Wildcat quarterback. They probably got more goal line offense than I think I see from any other team in the running game. Their versatility. But I'll tell you, when you have a quarterback at 6'3", 212 pounds at his size, I mean, they've got some good options down there tight.
He's had 2 different 20-yard runs on this drive. 10th play of the drive. Second and goal. So hard to stop Kansas State at this point.
Look how tight they are in there. It's going to be a sneak again.
Ertz, I think he got there. No signal yet. Touchdown.
I don't know how Kansas State fits this many guys in that small of an area. I mean, just look at this. Look at all the people in that condensed spot. There's 11 dudes. I mean, what is that, 4 yards each side of the center? It's pretty cool.
And the 2 different fullbacks, they got 3 fullbacks in. 2 were really giving Ertz that push from behind.
That hurts too as a quarterback, right? Because you're running into a wall, and then you've got a bunch of beef behind you pushing into your back as well. I mean, trust me, that's not fun. You score, that's awesome. But I mean, that's like taking a big shot. Like, it's like getting sacked.
32-21 with the point after coming. That was low, but good. Well, the Wildcats, after A&M tried the long field goal and came up short behind their quarterback, Jesse Ertz, with Dad having a hard time watching down the field for a 33-21 lead. Well, easy for me to say, but I still think A&M made a mistake trying for the long field goal, 4th and short. They kicked and came up short, and Kansas State immediately went down the field and added to their lead. So it's 33-21, still 9 minutes to go. The Aggies will get the ball back. Back on these kick returns, just hasn't really had a chance to return one. Knight scrambling, he's got Kirk wide open, and he hits Kirk for the completion inside the 25.
And they had Christian Kirk wide open really early, and Trevor Knight could have spotted him sooner. This would have been a touchdown. Watch number 3 here in the slot. He's just going to run the deep cross. It clears the safety. This defense never has coverage busts. One of the biggest reasons why they don't give up explosive plays is because they don't make mistakes like that. They don't let you run behind them.
First down and a fastball from Knight to Reynolds for a short gain.
I like the aggressive play calling here by Noel Mazzoni too. I mean, they're putting it on Trevor Knight, down 12. They know the strength of their offense is this wide receiver group. Josh Reynolds, you see the night he's having. Christian Kirk's here starting to come on in the second half. We've seen Ricky Seals-Jones with a touchdown earlier in the game. Find your best matchup and exploit it if you're Trevor Knight.
Out of the timeout, 2nd and 5. Knight fakes it to Ford, who's back in, and it's Reynolds for another touchdown. Another contested catch.
They run the double move, the curl and go to try to get Josh Reynolds in behind this defense. Watch the stop, gets the corner just a bite for a second. He gets tugged on. That's at least defensive holding, doesn't get called. But then look at Josh Reynolds. The last possible second he puts the hands up. That way the cornerback has no idea where the football is. Some receivers have a great knack for that. I remember Randy Moss was the best I'd ever seen at doing that. Mike Evans was a great Texas A&M receiver for Johnny Manziel. Could do the same thing. Josh Reynolds, he's putting on a clinic tonight. 3
plays, 75 yards, just what the Aggies needed. With this extra point, up and good. 7:50 on the clock, and a 5-point lead for the Wildcats of Kansas State out of Big 12 against an old Big 12 member, the Aggies of Texas A&M.
The seniors on this team, the Trevor Knights, the Myles Garretts, the Josh Reynolds, who understood this is their last time in playing in a Texas A&M uniform and how important it was to band together against a very confident Kansas State opponent. They've battled and they've played hard in all 3 facets.
And now down just 5 with the kickoff. Returnable for DJ Reed, who's got that speed. Reed to the 30 and to the 35-yard line. Hurts throwing incomplete. That's interesting.
Well, you know, again, this is an offense that likes to throw on first down when you're expecting run. And they have those pop pass plays. They throw to the fullback, Winston Dimmel. We saw them complete one earlier in the game. But nice job that time of Texas A&M defensively staying home. And now Kansas State not accomplishing what they set off to do. They're not wasting any time, and they're sitting here at 2nd and 10. If you get to 3rd and long, that guy becomes a factor.
The pass game has been robust for Kansas State in this one. Only 1 timeout remaining. Play clock under 5. Ertz 1 step back, now going forward with that lead blocker, but closing fast. Alaka, the middle linebacker. Let's go downstairs to Laura.
Well, guys, in talking to some NFL scouts here to see Myles Garrett, they all said it's not about the stats for him. It's more about his presence on the field and how teams respond to him. They also said they'd rather a guy play in a bowl game than not play in a bowl game.
Well, Laura, right now, they need the defensive ends for Texas A&M to slow the pass rush down. We've seen a couple times the last 2 drives. They're actually running past Jesse Ertz and taking themselves out of the play. Jesse Ertz on these 3rd downs has been able to run and go get the first himself.
3rd and 7. He'll throw, and what a catch by Pringle. The ball comes out with the big hit. It'll be incomplete. He had it, then the hit.
I think, the ball didn't hit the ground initially when it got jarred loose by the cornerback Charles Oliver. Watch this again. This is close to being an interception. Ball's thrown behind him. Looks like he's going to snag it. It's a big hit by the true freshman Oliver. Ball didn't hit the ground. It got ricocheted up in the air. Then there was a bounce. But what a big 3 and out for this Texas A&M defense.
And that looked like a conversion. It was a great effort by Pringle. But the true freshman with maybe the biggest defensive play of the game. Aggies are going to get the ball back. Maybe returnable for the ultra-dangerous Kirk. And returnable, but with good coverage. So not much there. Elijah Lee, who plays so many snaps on defense, there on special teams. 6:37 to go. Handoff Ford. Spun through a big hit. Got a nice gain of maybe 7 yards on 1st down.
You know, number 75, Jordan Willis. I know we've talked a lot about Myles Garrett, and rightfully so. He's had a really nice game himself. He's been making plays, rushing the passer behind the line of scrimmage. He's been excellent against the run tonight. We've seen 2 really good defensive ends go toe-to-toe here tonight.
2nd and 3. Another carry for Ford. 1st down and more. Tough running for the junior Keith Ford. I'm thinking maybe it was a cramp that took him out for a while in this game. He's been running hard when he's had chances.
This is an up-tempo offense, but you see now in this kind of scenario, trailing by 5, they can take their time. Make sure you get the right play called, get in the right position.
Knight a little shoulder fake, now pressured on the move. Trevor Knight headed for the sideline, gets shoved out of bounds.
There's the added dimension he provides also, right? The ability to extend plays with his legs. He hasn't really had to scramble a whole lot tonight. He's been lucky enough to be able to throw most of the time on time. Right there, great job in coverage by Kansas State, nothing open, and this is a situation of the game. You take over, let your legs help you.
He did. He had some big scramble games against SEC defenses. Mom and Dad watching Trevor Knight play his final college game, trying to lead a comeback. Second down and short. That throw back shoulder, and Reynolds hauls it in.
Yeah, okay, like, get DJ Reed over there. I mean, he's the defensive newcomer of the year in the Big 12. He leads the conference with 18 pass breakups. He's your best cover guy. This is a really well executed back shoulder throw, and I'm not even sure if DJ Reed would have been able to stop that. There's no defense for a perfect throw, but no one can stop number 11 right now. And I mean, Trevor Knight's not throwing that side at all. I mean, that Speedy Noel, who's suspended, he's playing to the side right now that DJ Reed's covering.
Guess who? Reynolds again.
And look, if you look out there, DJ Reed, he's mad. He's mad at the coaching staff. He's yelling at the coaches. He's telling them to put him over there. He's frustrated because Texas A&M's playing keep away. He understands what's going on. I think it's a big mistake to leave this matchup on Josh Reynolds. I mean, he's one throw away from them taking the lead.
Aggies on the move. 2nd and 1. With Williams alongside Knight in the backfield. This time looking in that other direction, and the quick tackle in the open field by Reed, but an Aggies first down.
And that's what I love so much about DJ Reed. It's his quickness and his ability to break on the football. He always seems like he's in the back hip pocket of the wide receiver because of that change of direction, those quick feet. He's got active hands, and that's why he leads the conference in pass breakups. But they need him on the other side, where Texas A&M's most dangerous receiver in this game has been.
You got Kirk and Reynolds stacked up on the right side. Williams takes the handoff inside the 25 to the 21. So Texas A&M marching right down the field.
This Kansas State defense all year has been a very good red zone defense. They force field goals and don't allow a lot of touchdowns. And the critical juncture of this game now, their backs against the wall. They need to make a play. That's gotten them in trouble a couple times this year. They had fourth quarter leads against West Virginia and Oklahoma State. They weren't able to hold on to late. They need a big stop.
I don't think there'll be any field goal tries on this drive. Ford, nice catch, and squirts ahead to get at least a couple of yards positively in what could have been a big loss.
Yeah, he's playing possessed right now. He's fired up. This is his last game too. He's a senior, and physicality is his game. I mean, he's got Shermichael Moore all over him here, grabbing him by both shoulder pads, and he just refuses to go down because of that effort. Makes this third down so much more manageable.
Kansas State showing some pressure, almost jumped off sides again.
This is where you got to think about Christian Kirk here, potentially in a one-on-one in the slot. Quick slant opportunity.
With all the time running off, you figure it's got to be 4-down territory. That pitch to Ford, perfectly defended by Kansas State. They stuff it. And now Kevin Sumlin has to call a timeout with 2:14 to go. So we're going to take the timeout with the Aggies as they figure out maybe their game on the line here with 4th down coming up right after this. All right, here we go. 2:15 remaining. It's 4th and 8 for A&M. Trailing by 5 to Kansas State here in the Advocare Texas Bowl.
I think if you're Kansas State defensively, you got to be thinking number 11, Josh Reynolds.
Kirk is the man who comes in motion. Trevor Knight with pressure coming. Throws incomplete.
Great defensive play call here. You're bringing 6. Texas A&M, they're sliding the offensive line this way, so they're outnumbered to the left side. That's the nickelback Cree Moore coming in untouched. Trevor Knight has no choice but to get rid of this early. Throwing out to a wide receiver, Damian Ratley, working against the best cover corner for Kansas State, and just no chance.
The timeout burned before that fourth down play looms very large here. However, with 2 timeouts still left in their pocket, the Aggies could conceivably get the ball back with somewhere around a minute still to go. So the game is not over, but it's a must stop for A&M's defense. Ertz keeping it, and Ertz gets shoved out of bounds. No, they wind the clock. Wow.
That was smart that Jesse Ertz got down. He barely looked like he got that right knee down before he went out of bounds. Good awareness, understanding the time and situation of the game. You can't run out of bounds, bleed the clock. The heads-up football play.
That was a good call, and it forced A&M to use one of their final 2 timeouts. A&M crowds the line on 2nd and 10. Ertz again just looks like he's intent on keeping it. He does, and Ertz gets the first down. And that should basically do it, not officially.
That's the advantage of having that running quarterback. When you get the extra blocker and you get tailbacks blocking out in front, you've got 9 guys out in front of your quarterback getting hats on hats, and the patient running by Jesse Ertz we've seen all game. And again, the heads up, knowing you got the first down, get down on the ground, don't risk fumbling the football and giving it back. Just a very well executed game plan. Very impressed with the game plan the coaching staff from Kansas State came up with, but it's been executed flawlessly by Jesse Ertz.
Ertz now didn't quite just take a knee. It's back to the line of scrimmage. A&M uses its final timeout. Ertz.
David, it's going to be tough sledding next year for Texas A&M too when you consider who they lose. A lot of their leaders, and we've seen Trevor Knight and Myles Garrett and Josh Reynolds, Avery Genesee, et cetera, et cetera. Tough schedule too, though. Got to go at UCLA right out of the gate. You're going to play at Florida, at Ole Miss, who you've lost 4 in a row to, at LSU, who you haven't beaten since you've been in the SEC. You're going to have a brand new quarterback, and they've got a true freshman they've got now, and Nick Starkel, Kellen Mond, number 2 overall dual threat quarterback in the country, coming in January. Defense has to get better stopping the run. And the quarterback position, I think, in the SEC next year will be as good as it's been in the conference since 2013, when it was Johnny Manziel and A.J. McCarron and Aaron Murray, Mettenberger, Connor Shaw, et cetera, et cetera.
Ertz was told just make sure that play lasts a few seconds, and that will do it, and it will. What a win for Kansas State. And what a year. Kind of forgotten, left behind after a slow start. They end up winning 6 of their last 7 and take down a very good team from the SEC. You can't get your head coach wet when he's 77 years old. So use the confetti. I like it. 2 guys who have a lot of respect for one another. For Myles Garrett, a great career is likely over, at least at the college level. Kansas State wins the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl here in Houston. For Jesse Palmer, for Laura Rutledge, for our great ESPN crew, Dave Fleming saying so long from Houston. 33-28 Wildcats win.